So recently, finally, I finished Jujutsu Kaisen season one, and you know what? I thoroughly enjoy this show. I was thinking after a while, when you watch an anime, you want to watch a good one so you don't get disappointed, so you keep going and watching more. And I think this was the perfect one to come back to because this season one actually was very surprisingly, really good. Now there is thing where I started this a few years ago when it came out originally, and I watched like I think an episode, the first episode or so, and then I just kind of got lost interest for some reason. I'm not too sure why. Then I came back to it and rewatched the whole thing from first episode on, and it really hit me how good it was. Now, one thing I will say beforehand is that even though the characters and the dialogue, story is really good, it did remind me a lot of a mix of Bleach and Naruto, and like how some of the like the school environment and some of the characters, how they interact, and like this craziness of all of it did remind me of those. And they are sometimes I do feel like it's like if Bleach and Naruto had a baby, this this is the kind of show that would come out of it. Again, we're not going to go into spoilers, but even if you look at the main character, Yuji, he is very similar to how maybe like how Naruto or Bleach, like all those characters, like if you kind of put them together and if you make like a smoothie out of it, you're like, okay, this is what that looks like. The character of teacher Satoru is the name. Yeah, Satoru. I'm gonna say the name like that just in case, but you know, if I'm wrong, let me know. But it also feels like that he's like some of the characters from Bleach kind of mixed together with some of the characters from Naruto, like the teacher aspect of it, and how eccentric it is sometimes, how over the top he is with his emotions and showing those emotions. You're like, okay, I get where they're going. But what saves this season, at least for me, it feels like it's the way they did those characters, the way the storyline goes, and how they take their time step by step and kind of doing its own thing. Even though it feels familiar, it ends up feeling something new. And again, the sword thing where it's like in Bleach, it's like, oh, we gotta Ishigo has to put the sword in and all that. It's that moment. Here it's the finger. And it's like, it's like those moments that do feel like very familiar. But overall though, they end up feeling different because of the characters. And it's funny how they feel similar, but the way the story goes and the way the story handles them, it still ends up being so enjoyable that you're like, okay, I'm with this. I am with this. I understand the story. I like the story, and it feels different. And even though it feels familiar, it also feels very different. I think that was the key. And then second season, I am not going to review it in this, and the animation definitely is feeling better. But even though in the first season, still animation was actually pretty darn good. And I like that, some of the new series, like I talked about this on some of the reviews, is that they go with that full 3D looking stuff. They kept it to feeling like, hey, it's pencil looking. Yes, some of the stuff might be still computer generated and all, but it still ends up feeling, okay, this very well can be the roughness, some of the roughness and all, with what you get with that sketching with the pencil and all. It feels like that. So I like that. I like it. Feels more grounded, even though it's not. There is craziness to the action, but there is not. That was the other thing I actually almost forgot to talk about. That the action is not so crazy over the top. I was like, oh, is he has this demon in him now, and he's collecting all these fingers. They're gonna go full on like just absolutely crazy, where people are going through buildings and not getting hurt and all. It was surprisingly very grounded. And I like that. I like that there was not like crazy camera work. It was simple moves, simple action that they basically had in this, but it still felt very effective. They didn't need to go full on anime crazy. There is craziness in like what the story was and the character of Hugie, but the overall setting, the overall action felt very grounded. The powers that they have, it felt very grounded. And I like that. So overall, I actually really do enjoy this series more than I thought I would. I can't wait to finish season two, and then we'll get to that. But the way it ends, or the cliffhanger it ends on, there's a lot more to it now, and I can't wait to see more. So, really, really good in numbers. Usually don't do it, but somebody was looking around a number. Still say season one is around like a 8.5 to like 9ish out of 10. Pretty darn great. So what was your take on this one? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. I'll see you all soon. Until then, ta-da, a cow.